Hey, thanks so much for downloading the episode. On the show, my sister and I are talking about the summer, the good, the bad, and the ugly that has happened so far this year. That, along with our ugly and awkward moments of the week, sponsored by lipandclip.com. Check it out, support us, enjoy the show.
It's another uncensored look at the world around you, from sisters who will say just about anything to anyone at any time. It's the Uggs. Jamie?
I'm willing to bet $100 he absolutely knows what the C word is.
Paula?
Maybe I wouldn't mind living in a hut for a week.
Uncensored as always, it's time for the ugly truth.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth, Sisters Who Podcast. It is episode 287. Ugh. We are going into the first week of July already. I can't even with the summer blowing through. Like, it's so fast.
I know, I can't stand it because on 7/8/18, my daughter will be 9 years old.
I can't believe it's been 9 years since you sneezed her out of your body.
Basically.
Well, wait, was it a cough or a sneeze?
It was a cough.
You were transitioning and you were coughing like crazy, and Mom was in the room and she was like, "Do you need some water?" And you're like, "If you don't want to be in here, just get out." and Mom turns to me and she goes, "Well, that was rude." And I'm like, "Mother," I'm like, "She's transitioning." She's transitioning, and she was like, "I've never seen a woman transition by coughing." And then three or 4 minutes later, out comes Olivia.
I know.
It was weird.
Mom got offended so many times when I was in labor, which is funny because how can you try and spare someone's feelings when you're in labor? But
you don't. You get to do whatever you want when you're in labor. It's literally the one time that you don't get to apologize, or you don't have to apologize.
Well, according to Mom, that's not true.
I know. It's like no matter what, you just maintain your manners.
In fact, I drove her to go to lunch one time. I don't know what I did.
You entertained the room. when your legs are in those stirrups, even if your vagina is dilated to 9 centimeters, you be nice. You be
basically.
kind and courteous.
It's true.
Anyway, okay, so summer is in full swing, and there's a lot of good, bad, and ugly going on in the world, obviously, as we all know. But I guess it probably depends on your take on this. But Michael Jackson's dad died.
Oh, he did?
Today. Yes, he died.
That.
He was 89.
I didn't even know he had a dad. I mean, obviously he had a dad, but...
He was the original, you know how they call Kardashian's mom the momager?
Yeah.
He was like the OG. He was the dadager. He was like the OG, but he was super abusive. It's how he got his boys in line to do all the stuff. That's why they're all nuts.
Right.
Because he was super duper abusive and Mom did nothing. You know, sounds familiar, right? But they had like 7 or 8 children, and they were all incredibly talented, and he saw that, and so he is absolutely responsible for the fame and success that they had as the Jackson 5. He was super aggressive about getting them into the business, and because they definitely were super talented. Mm-hmm. It was kind of like, I heard that about the Beach Boys' dad. Their father apparently was also very rough on them and scary, and he was kind of responsible for thrusting them into the business, and because they were so talented. But anyway, so Joe Jackson has passed away. He had cancer. 89 years old. And you know, like you and I were talking, I don't know if we were talking about it on the show or if we were talking about it when you came over to visit the other day, but people who are genuinely terrible, they live for a really long time.
I know, right?
Why? It's like the ones that you want to have just not be around to cause any more damage, they live to be like 100. Why is that? I never got that.
I don't know. They should do a study to show like how long a narcissist lives in comparison to the average, nice human person.
Yeah, the average person who has the ability to attempt to have empathy and sympathy and, actually wants to, help people.
Because like maybe those phrases they say, like it's a dog eat dog world. Like maybe those are true.
Maybe. But only the good die young is that saying's around for a reason, I think. But yeah, he croaked. And, on one hand, it's sad because Michael Jackson wasn't around to at least enjoy for a moment that his contemptible father was gone. But,
True.
We all die. So there you go. He's gone, finally.
True.
I don't know. Maybe the damage has been done for those children. But, they're all older than us. Heather Locklear, that poor woman.
I know.
Have you been following this?
I have. And, I can't tell if it's probably a mixture of mental illness and substance abuse.
Yes.
And so
I think she's an alcoholic.
I think a lot of people just don't give her a lot of credit as far as being ill.
Yes.
And they just think that maybe she's just a junkie.
I think she's an alcoholic. I think, although apparently she was hospitalized for an OD, but I don't know what it was. Like, they don't say what she was on, but she could have Xanax or something, and then, whatever. But I really, really, really hope someone reaches through to her and gets her to attempt some wellness.
Well, I'm positive they offer it to her every time.
For sure.
She goes to these different facilities.
And the thing is Heather Locklear has been on this road for a while. This is not the first time. I want to say a few years ago she was arrested or pulled over for some kind of infraction and was arrested. And she always gets so damn violent. That's the other thing.
Well, she's an angry person. Well, she's been dating rock stars her whole life.
I know. In fact, Tommy Lee, it was Tommy Lee, right? Wasn't she married to him forever?
Or was it Richie Sambora?
She dated Richie Sambora after
Tommy Lee. Okay.
Yes. Somebody said, yeah, this is all your fault, Tommy Lee. And he's like, fuck you guys. She's been a bitch forever. He's like, this is not my fault. We haven't been married for almost 20 years or something crazy long. And I'm like, God, has it really been 17 years since you guys got divorced? Jeez. Crazy.
Yeah,
but I think that's true. I think it has been that long.
Is she still with Jack Wagner, or did they break up?
I have zero idea about her social life. They were together for a while, weren't they?
It's just a little more time.
He was, back in the day, he was probably the first guy who looked like a super sexy dad that everybody thought was adorable.
Everybody loved that song when he came out with it.
Of course. Yes, absolutely. I
was
liked it too.
horrible.
It was terrible. It was terrible, but everybody loved it. It was the 80s. We were all on, everybody was on cocaine back then.
He was a couple with someone. I forgot who it was, but...
Well, he was on a soap opera, and then didn't he ultimately end up on Melrose Place? I can't remember.
Maybe that's how they met.
Yeah. Oh, I loved her. Oh, my God. Heather Locklear was the best thing that happened to that show. Her name was Miranda.
Well, and she was on Spin City for a long time, too.
I never watched that. I did not get into that as much. That's a Michael J. Fox show, right?
It was Michael J. Fox, but it was her and Charlie Sheen. Go figure.
Oh.
They were the dynamic duo on that show, and they had really good chemistry.
Yes.
So,
well, crazy knows crazy.
Yeah, for real.
So. I shouldn't say that. Drug addict knows drug addict. For all we know.
That's all it is.
Well, I still, regardless of what's going on with Miss Locklear, I hope she gets her shit together. I really, really don't want her to go down. I don't want to see a picture of her because she's been roaming the streets for 2 weeks and no one could find her. Right. I just can't do it. I don't want to see the roots. Get your hair done, whatever. Yeah. Please try to get yourself together. Please, I'm hoping. I don't like to see anybody like that. I know you hate her, but Joanna Gaines had her baby.
Yeah, Crew Gaines.
Crew Gaines. He's a cutie, Paula. He's a cute baby. Yeah, he's tiny because he came early.
Yeah, he was... She's, of course, lucky in her life. She had a 2.5-week-old baby, or 2.5-week early baby.
Yes.
So I'm sure he just popped out of the almond and,
well,
there he is.
He's baby number 5, so I don't know. It might be a walnut now. It may not be an walnut anymore. Do you ever wonder if the Gaines, if their social media is accurate, or do you think she's like screams at the kids because she has so many now? Like, do you think she ever was a yelly mom or anything, or do you think she's just one of those moms? Because like when you see Martha Stewart, she was a bitch. Like, she was mean to her daughter. You could tell.
Probably very passive aggressive, I would say.
Martha Stewart, yeah. By the way, I love Martha Stewart for real. I think it's because she reminds me so much of our mother. If you want to know what our mom is, look at Martha Stewart. That's exactly who she even looks like her. She literally looks like her.
Kind
Yeah.
of.
I think Martha Stewart's taller, but she has, they literally have the same everything. She's doing some episodes of Chopped right now.
Oh, she's
a judge.
She's brutal.
I love it. I love everything. And here's when I went, oh yeah, she's totally our mother. Is last week I was watching the one, and it was the donut episode, and she started drinking a cup of coffee in the middle of it. She just had a cup of coffee, and she's just sitting there sipping, watching them work their asses off. And I went, of course you have coffee. Are you kidding me? And she's like, this isn't just coffee. She goes, this is a donut espresso. And she shows it, and the foam is in a donut shape.
Oh, how funny.
She's awesome. I love her. But yes, she's brutal. She goes, well, I just don't really care for this at all.
She's like, well, this could use more sauce because it's awfully dry. You know?
She's like, there's just nothing about this that I like. She's like, I think I can.
Yes, I did hear her say that.
I mean, I was just like, can you imagine? And then the chef is like, oh my God. Like, really? Nothing?
You know, before they get judged, they're just like, wow, Martha Stewart, this is amazing. And she's like, well, this is just, I really find this unpleasant, the whole dish.
She's like, I really don't like the way you used my radishes.
Oh, that's right.
She's like, I don't know why we did it like this. God, it was
at least
so
the other
awesome.
Judges try and patronize him a little bit.
Yeah, then they're being super nice. Like, well, I really appreciate I see what you're doing here. I really love the relish.
I can tell flavors, but
I know it's clear you know how to cook. It's like, I don't want you leaving here with a bad reputation.
Right.
Poor you. And Martha going, you have no idea what to do with my own radishes.
Gosh.
It's so great. Bridget Nielsen had that baby.
Yeah, that was fast.
I know. Well, I think she announced it towards the end of her pregnancy. But she's 50 years old, man. Or, yeah, she's 50.
She's like 54, I think.
Oh, is she over 50? Sometimes I wonder when women over the age of 45 are having children. And I wonder, are we segueing into a time where we're going to live longer? Because, women having babies at 50 is kind of a new thing for our era.
I mean, I know definitely a lot of celebrities, which is, the only way we can kind of gauge how people are doing it.
Right.
A lot of celebrities are in their mid to late 40s.
Yeah.
That are having babies. I know that that's happening.
It's so weird.
50 is a new way of doing things.
I would never do it.
That's like the grandchildren years,
Paula,
and she has grown children.
Of course she does. I don't know. Speaking of periods and stuff, I am hardcore on the struggle bus right now.
Yeah.
Ever since Mackenzie, my oldest daughter, moved out, when you live, and you'll figure this out in a few years, not yet.
Right.
When you live with other girls who everybody's on their period, everybody either syncs up so you're all in your period at the same time, but when you have girls who are in puberty or going through, growing up, it whacks everyone out. Like, everybody's off kilter. I feel sorry for husbands and brothers who have to endure it, because it is every week it's someone else losing their shit. Constant crying, running out of toilet paper, demands for fast food and chocolate all the time. It's
cream everywhere.
Oh God, tears, anger, judgment. I understand sometimes when I read about the old days where they would send women off to live in huts for a week. I get it. I get it. I really do. Because
maybe I wouldn't mind living in a hut for a week.
Right? I mean, it sounds appealing now. It's like, well, as long as I have all my stuff, I'm good. I
have
can do
everything I need, and everyone would just leave me F alone. Yeah.
Right? I had a fantasy the other day, because I'm in the throes of it right now. I had of being on my period. And here's the thing. I just stupidly bragged to you about how my periods only last 4 days.
I was just going to say, I was just with you on Saturday. And
yeah,
you told me it was going to be over in like 3 days.
Yeah. Today is day 3 or day 4. And I woke up this morning going, well, I should be done. I'm like, what is this? Why am I still totally on my period? And I have a migraine on top of it. And I'm like, what is happening in my world? Why am I suddenly having these 7-day periods. Like, I'm going to have a 6 or 7 day period this month, and it's my fault for bragging to you. And I should have known on Saturday when you looked at me, you're like, you look really pale. Are you anemic?
Yeah, you were pale.
It's been the worst period ever. And I completely blame my teenage daughter. And I always go, are you on your period right now? She's like, no, I finished a week ago. And I'm like, God, what is happening? I have the weirdest stops and starts now. It freaking sucks. Now, you and I were talking about regularity when you're single, or I guess when your man's on deployment. Your period gets all weird.
It's kind of funny because whenever Victor is gone on long trainings or has been on deployment, my period just stops for some reason. And it's almost like my uterus says to me, like, well, if there's no chance, we're not going to be, on the clock.
Like,
so
what's the point? We're going to rest too.
We're just going to stop. And so especially when he's on deployment, I'll go like 5 or 6 months without a period.
That's
but
so
what
weird.
sucks is then he'll come home for like a 2-week visit and I'll get my period.
Of course.
And it's not just a period. I mean, it's like
it's like
a
Niagara
gunshot
Falls.
wound. It is. It's terrible. And I'm just like, you guys have had 6 months to get this taken care of. Why now in the lousy 2 weeks that he's
that
home?
I can get.
Right. Does this have to happen?
I want to get busy, and here we are.
Right.
Well, when I was single, I was just super regular, just, every month, every 28 days, whatever. And then I would get lucky, and I would have sex, and then my period would go off the charts weird. I wouldn't necessarily skip, but things would get all messed up. And that, of course, that includes pregnancy scares and all the stuff. And then, 3 days late or 4 days late, and then I would finally start. And I'm like, why? Why would a penis do this? Like, why would it mess everything up so badly? I don't get our hormones. I really don't.
I know.
It's so crazy.
You're supposed to start, but then you don't. And then, it's because you were either hanging out with a friend for a long time and you guys are trying to sync up, or especially starting a new job, and then you hang out with a bunch of girls, and then you guys all start syncing up. And
well, I know Mackenzie and all the kids, even Malia, actually, they're all on all girl, or were at some point all girl teams competitively, where they would spend 6 to 12 weeks together constantly. Well, because you're together every day for 2 to 6 hours, depending, and then at some point it's all going to sync. And can you imagine the week when that's got to be the most brutal week ever to coach people. You've got some coach trying to coach 25 girls and they're all on the rag. Can you even imagine?
No,
it's bad enough when you have like 3 girls in the house. I can't imagine 25 all from different homes. That's got to be awful.
I would think that, especially in competitive cheerleading, that some people might just not get him after a while.
It's not gymnastics.
That's true.
They're not like underdeveloped. But yeah.
Actually, this is funny. Family Feud is doing like a bunch of celebrity weeks. I don't know if you've seen the previews for that.
Daryl mentioned to me last night, he goes, did you see the Currys were on Family Feud? I'm like, no, what? He goes, well, I guess the wife did a great job, and then Steph Curry came out and he only had to get 6 points. He goes, if you can't get these 6 points, then you need to quit the Warriors.
Yeah, right.
He's like, all right. So then he answered one of the first question was he got 0 points.
Oh no.
So I think they ultimately won, but I had heard about this. I really have a hard time watching game shows on TV.
Does it give you anxiety?
No, they're just over the top, and I just don't like it. But I need to watch. I do love Family Feud, though. So who is on that you liked?
No, I don't know if they've been on yet, but so where they stand with Steve Harvey, and then they've got their hands like behind their back, and they've got it resting before they hit the button.
Yes.
Well, they had 2 gymnasts up there.
Oh, jeez. I'm assuming female.
And Steve Harvey was looking down like,
nothing to look at here. Oh, God.
And they still have little voices and everything.
Yeah,
like
they're
that.
super tiny. Yeah, they're teeny tiny people.
Well, they've stunted their growth, basically, by doing sports.
Well, and they're just malnourished half the time because they have to be so small, so tiny, thin.
So, anyways, it was just funny.
That is funny. Oh, do you watch Long Island Medium? Have you ever watched that show?
I've seen it once, but I don't really like her, so I just make it a habit of not watching.
Well, I went through a phase where I was watching it, and whether you believe in those things or not is not really the point of the show to me. I don't really know what it is. I mean, I have my thoughts, but I don't want to go out and I don't want to ruin anybody's day by telling you what I think about it. But, you know, she has been married to the same dude for like 25 years.
I thought they were splitting up or something.
They're splitting up. They're split. The divorce. I read today the divorce is going to happen. He moved from Long Island. He lives in Santa Monica, California now. Mm-hmm. And he has a girlfriend.
Well, of course he does.
And I'm like, what a weird thing to move across the country. And shockingly, you've had a girlfriend for 9 months. Like, how did you meet this girl? Gee, let me think. You know, how did that happen? Social media.
Well, it shouldn't be a shock because she should have seen it coming.
Maybe she did. Maybe she did. She probably went, Larry, who's this whore? What are you talking about? Somebody came to me. Some
Her long
spirit came to me and told
fingernails.
me. Oh, God. I've never liked those things. Anyway, the thing is that she's a cutie pie. The lady, the Long Island person, is really pretty and cute. But all I know is that it's unfortunate that reality shows tend to break up marriages. No matter how strong you think they are when you go into it, even those little people couldn't make it work. I mean,
know.
They're split completely. She's dating a normal sized person. He's single on that pathetic little farm now. I mean, it just, reality shows break up marriages. They just do. And I don't know what it is. I don't know why.
Well,
So
I think
weird.
it's because, you know, with fame, everyone kind of creates
They
their
handle
own.
it.
Well, they create their own agenda, you know,
That's true.
as far as what they want to glean from it.
Yes.
And I think if you don't have like a talk or something about like, what do we want to accomplish from this, you know?
Man, I don't know. Some of those are pretty solid, though. I mean, although I think what it does, those shows, they expose the weaknesses in the marriage. If there are weaknesses in the marriage,
Yeah.
you're going to find them. And like, you know, that couple that you really like, the Flip or Flop people,
Yeah.
you know, they're back with new episodes, divorced.
Yeah, no, I've been watching it.
Yeah, and I kind of am not digging it. I watched one the other day. She's like, and they've always been terrible actors, by the way. They've never been good at acting on that show.
Yeah.
So they're overacting how annoyed they are with each other all the time. And it's like, that's old. And no, let's
Yeah.
not forget, you have kids who are going to see this one day.
Right.
You know, I don't like it. I mean, I realized that, you know, the last season when they were supposedly together, married, they were actually separated. And I get all of that. Mm-hmm. That was the best acting they ever did.
Yeah,
Now
really.
it's just like she's constantly irritated with him. But I'm thinking, this is the pull. This is what's going to make people watch. You're terrible acting. You're throwing a hissy fit and him constantly rolling his eyes and groaning. I'm like, what is this? Let's just not. Can't you just work together and be the one couple that can stay together but not married? Wouldn't that be nice?
It's pretty painful to watch, and
Yeah.
it's just kind of weird too because it just shows how it is when you first separate, that how some things are old habits and
Yes.
some things are, you know, are the reason why you broke up. Like, she's really flirty with him. Mm-hmm. And that makes it really difficult because you can tell his heart's pretty broken about the whole thing. And so, and it's just a weird dynamic, and it's nothing that the show highlights or anything like that.
No.
It's just, you know, anyone who's been in that situation, just watching, you know, you can tell the dynamic.
Right. Well, anyway, don't do a reality show. God. I mean, I just would never do it. I would do it with a faux husband, but not a real one.
A faux husband.
Yeah, I'd be like, let's pretend we're married and let's do this show. That might work. But other than that, you know, no.
Yeah, but then that could turn into an affair.
Well, wouldn't that be exciting? God. Okay, so one good thing that's happening this summer, it's a good thing. It's a bittersweet good thing. So 4th of July is coming up, and if you have an athlete in any sport, you tend to be required to work a booth at fireworks time, 4th of July time. So Malia is a varsity cheerleader. This is her last year. She's going to be a senior. Well, we still have to work a shift at the fireworks booth. So Daryl and I are working. We're closing out Sunday night. We'll be there selling fireworks for the last time ever.
Wow.
Ever. We worked so many fireworks booths, so many fundraisers, so many swim meets and polo matches, and we're all done. I can't believe it.
Are you going to bring some champagne?
No, I can't do that. But I'm hoping we sell a bunch of shit so that we can go out with a bang, literally.
I'm sure you will. We're going to have the highest sales ever.
I really wish you didn't live so far away, because then you could come out and buy them from us.
Yeah,
that'd be
really,
awesome.
huh?
Yeah, it'd be great.
Well, now that we're belonging to the Thundering Herd, we probably will have to go buy them from
Elk Grove.
our own people.
Yes, you'll have to go to your own fireworks booth.
Wherever that is.
Well, I mean, did you not get the flyer?
Not yet. I haven't gotten an email.
Did you not sign off the thing? Well, it starts on Friday, so...
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get a note or something like that. They usually organize that stuff, and the reason why they probably reach out to certain people first is they reach out to the people who haven't been able to pay all their registration yet.
Oh,
and
yes.
so they give them the opportunity to work it off by working in the booth and stuff.
Yeah.
We already paid ours, so
you would be doing it out of the kindness of your heart,
basically.
Okay.
Like we did the snack bar that one day.
Oh my God!
And said that was a nightmare.
God, that's terrible.
Because they put us on food.
I know, you told me all about it.
I had cheese in my hair,
and you had the two hens bossing you around, which would have made me go, you know what? I'm done with this, bitches. Bye.
I'm like, we're switching. Here.
Yeah, I've been like, done. Enjoy your fanny packs and your visors. Out. I'm sure your husband loves your short haircut.
Right.
God. I can't. Enjoy those denim shorts. You must be sweltering in there.
God. I didn't even know what I was wearing.
Who cares?
Well, not food or not clothes to be serving food in. That's for sure.
You probably look like Paris Hilton trying to iron bacon. For real. Like, right. What is this? How do we do this? I don't know what this is. Well, that's a can opener, Paula. Well, what does it open? I don't understand. It's like it opens the cheese. Cheese comes in a can now?
Okay.
Wow.
We need more pretzels. Okay, well, we're out of the ones in the little glass container. Where do I get more? In the freezer? Does that mean that they're frozen?
Yeah, for real.
Anyways.
Funny. All right, really quick before we go into our ugly and awkward moments, you never told me that Ryan knew the C word.
Well, Ryan doesn't know the C word as far as I'm concerned. He walked into the living room yesterday and he's like, caca. And I'm like, Ryan.
What?
And I'm like, why are you saying that? He's all, because it means poop. And so...
Isn't he like almost 13?
Yes.
What's he doing?
Because I think he saw it on one of those YouTube videos or something like that.
Wait, so you mean caca, not cunt?
Exactly. And so...
Oh.
But here's the story is that I started laughing because I'm like, that's not the first time that you've said that. And he's like, what? I'm like, you've said caca before. And I'm like, when you were in daycare, you were probably 2 or 3 years old. And I came and picked you up and you said to me, Mom, there was a bunch of boys today saying the C word. Oh. And I'm just like, the C word?
You're like,
and
what?
So I immediately start like sweating. And I'm just like,
you're like, oh no.
He's like, yeah. I'm like, I said, caca? And he's like, No. And he said, crap. I'm like,
oh, well.
Right. I'm like, yeah, that's a bad word. I'm like, they definitely shouldn't have been saying that. I'm like, did you say it? And he's like, no. And then he's like, what's caca? So I said it just nothing. I said, just ignore what I said. Keep going. He's like, well, what is it? Why do you keep saying caca? What is that? And so he kept saying it. And I'm like, Ryan, stop saying it. It's enough. Let's just go home. Forget it.
Paula.
Neither scenario, he doesn't know what the C word is.
I'm willing to bet $100 he absolutely knows what the C word is.
I don't
Come
think
on.
he does.
Really? Well, I'm not going to ask.
Well, neither am I. But
I feel like he's being sent out into the world so ill-equipped. He's like, what is that?
I have no doubt he's going to hear it. I have no doubt he'll respond accordingly with, his hands in his shirt pockets and just kind of like,
oh, that's new information.
Bopping his head and then, come home and ask his dad what it is. And
he said like 2 words to me the whole time he was at our house. He's so teenagery. It's crazy.
Well, he tried to pull a fast one last night where we made dinner.
Yeah.
Then he went into his room and sat on his bed with his dinner and in front of his tablet. And so
what?
I walked into his room and I'm like, what do you think you're doing? And he's like, eating dinner. And I'm like, in your room in front of your tablets? I'm like, I would appreciate it if you'd come eat dinner with us. And he's like, I can. And I'm like,
well.
And then I said, what do you think would happen if Dad had been home? He's like, I'd probably be in a lot of trouble. I'm like, exactly. And
so he's starting to push the boundaries a bit.
And so I'm like, why are you doing it to me?
Because you don't care. It's like, I do care. Now get your ass in there.
God.
Yelling is so fun.
Oh my God, it was the funniest thing ever.
It's so funny. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to our ugly and awkward moments of the week.
I was looking for an important piece of paper in my house, and there's really only 2 places that we keep like important documents.
Yeah.
One is on my end table where I sit on the couch, and then one's like a little file folder wire thing that we have on the counter.
Yeah, where all the bills go.
Right. I was looking all over the house. I couldn't find anything. Well, because our living room's a little small, we have that bar thing where you could put bar stools underneath it, but instead we pushed our love seat underneath it.
Okay.
I was standing on the love seat trying to see if maybe it got left on top of the bar. And the chair I was standing on was reclined. And so I was just like, okay, it's cool. It's reclined. I mean, nothing's going to happen. I know what's going on. Well, I guess I stepped a little too forward because you know how chairs will recline, but then they'll really stretch out?
Yes.
Like if you step too hard on the back of the seat. And so I stepped and it reclined all the way. So I was like surfing.
Paula.
And then when it did that, I hit my stomach really hard on the bar.
Oh, ow.
Which made me feel like angry because it reminded me of that meme where that person had a bunch of flour on their stomach and they were rolling it out.
God.
And so I was wobbling and I almost fell, but I didn't. And anyways, it was just really embarrassing. No one was there to see it, but I knew what happened, and I was kind of grateful no one was there to see it because it was really embarrassing. But
I wonder, did you feel like maybe a gymnast on the second bar when they do the uneven bars and they're laying chalk filled on the bottom bar before they go spinning around to flip to do the top? Maybe you look like that.
It could have been. I was a little bit more sideways, so that's why I felt like more like I was surfing because I don't know what I was doing. But anyways, the worst part was just the hitting of my stomach.
Oh, that would have made me angry. I would have been so mad at myself.
Because no one wants to feel like, and it was straight from like the underneath side.
Oh God, do you have a mark?
No, I didn't get a mark, but it just hurt. But
that makes my body hurt when I think about it.
But it was just like, I felt like Santa Claus hitting his stomach on the counter.
You don't look like Santa Claus, but I know.
But you know how you feel like Santa Claus.
Yes, you're like, ugh. No.
Like, dang it. So
That's funny.
I never found the paper up there.
Oh,
I
of
did
course.
find it, but not up there.
Oh, well, so it was all for naught. But I have two because I can't remember. Did I tell you about the thing that happened when we went to the beach house after Daryl and I had dinner and I thought my plate was his plate?
Oh,
Okay, I'm going to tell you about that one because no one knew about it and it was so awkward and gross at the same time. Daryl and I, we were at the beach house a few weeks ago, and for the last full night that we were there, we decided to barbecue steaks. So we barbecued some steaks and we were eating and it was great. Malia and her friend had gone off to go play ping pong and Daryl and I were finishing up. Daryl is super, like, he really hates gristle a lot.
Oh, okay.
Like, he hates it. So if he even if he feels a little bit of anything in the steak, he'll spit it out. He doesn't like it. So we're eating, and I don't like gristle, but Daryl is so meticulous about gristle on meat that if there's anything at all, I can barely tell and I'll eat it. So I cleared my plate. We were watching something. I think it was the Giants game or something. We were watching it. So I was clearing our plates from where we were sitting. And there was a little piece of steak. I go, I thought I ate all my steak. And so I put it in my mouth. And I realized that it was a little gristly.
Oh, gross.
And I went, oh my God, this is Daryl's chewed up steak. And I just put it in my mouth and I spit it across into the sink. And I almost threw up. I was like,
God.
I told no one. I told no one about that. It was horrifying. Horrifying. And then I told Daryl, and he's like, oh my God, you ate my chewed up steak. I'm all, shut up! Just shut up! Just shut up about it.
Oh my
like,
gosh, that's so
wow.
funny.
Yeah, and I'm like, and it was gristly. Ew.
Well, did he
so
eat it or?
No, he had spit it out.
Ew!
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
I thought you meant like he cut it off of the steak.
No, he ate it and went, oh, gristly. And then I went, oh, I didn't eat this piece.
Oh.
I don't clean my plate usually. And so, but the steak was really small. And I'm like, oh, and it was really good. I'm like, I can't believe I didn't eat this. And so, God, it was awful.
You ate like a regurgitated chew.
It was, yes.
That's
all the
so
bad things.
Gross.
It was all the bad things. Terrible.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was awful. It was terrible. And you know how I am about sharing anything with another human. Like, I won't even share a cup with a baby. I don't care how cute the baby is. I'm not getting that slobber on my cup. They can have the drink. I can't. And so the fact that I did that is just awful.
What did you rinse your mouth out or what'd you do?
Absolutely. Yes, everything. I did everything. It was so gross.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I definitely think you win. Gosh, take your points and buy some mouthwash.
It's so gross. I know. It's so gross. I think about it all the time too when I'm eating. I'm like, God, I remember that time that I did that. But see, that's OCD people, by the way. That's what OCD does. You replay a bad incident over and over and over again, even when it wasn't so bad. Yeah, it'll drive you nuts. That's pretty much what that is. So there you go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
That's
every time
funny.
I eat steak now, I go, remember that time that you ate that chewed up steak, Jamie?
Gross.
Yeah, that'll haunt me for years. For years, it'll haunt me.
Gross. At some point, it'll become funny.
Well, it's funny enough for me to share, but like this time, it was the first time Daryl realized I wasn't perfect. We had been married. I think Malia wasn't even, I wasn't even pregnant with Malia yet. So it was really early on in our relationship, like 2 or 3 years. And I had made pot roast and it was the best pot roast I ever ate. And I was sitting at the computer and the gravy was so good. I was literally licking my plate.
I know this story.
Daryl walked in, watched, and caught me licking full, like I was a guy going down on the hottest chick ever, licking hard. And he just froze. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, don't look at me. And to this day, he goes, Jamie, it's the only thing I have to hold over your head. Literally, it's the only thing because I'm so pristine.
I know.
And he's like, it's the only thing I have, so don't take it from me. I'm like, there's nothing I can take. I did it. I did it. It's in the canon of our relationship forever. When I die, he can tell the story at the funeral.
I know. God. Jeez.
That's so funny.
That's embarrassing.
I know. So what are you guys doing for 4th of July?
Well, Victor's not home yet. He's on his way home, actually, today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was a surprise. And so we will probably have a discussion as far as what we want to do. But if I had to guess, I would say we'll probably get some fireworks and we'll put them on the front porch. Or not the front porch, on the
children
street.
Will hide.
Yeah, they'll stand there. We'll probably open the garage and they'll stay in the garage with their ears plugged. And
they're just not big fans of that stuff, huh?
They never are. I'll never forget the year I stood out in the sidewalk by myself lighting fireworks while they were in the house looking out the window. And all the neighbors were like looking, putting up chairs and everything, looking around, and they were just all watching me light fireworks.
Oh, God. Paula, that's horrible.
Well, Victor was in Afghanistan, and I had no choice because they were excited. They're like, let's get fireworks. Yeah.
We're like, all right.
And so I was putting on a fireworks show for everyone in the neighborhood.
And they're all, hooray!
They're like, yay!
God bless America! And your kids are all, is it over yet? Can we go to bed?
Mom, is this one loud?
Is this the last one?
Is this the one that goes?
Oh my God! It's like, you guys want to hold some sparklers? No, thank you.
Get on my arm.
That should be fun.
Hopefully,
should be a fun investment for you.
Hopefully, Ryan, being 12 years old, he can handle it.
One would hope. It's funny. You remember we used to have hardcore parties, 4th of July, neighborhood parties, and then everyone lost their house in the recession and moved away.
Yeah.
Most of those families also divorced, and so now there's nothing.
Yeah.
Malia, though, has a really good little pack of friends. And a lot of their friends aren't doing anything either. And so it's really sad because I swear to God, after that recession hit and everyone lost their house, there's been nothing since. Like literally no 4th of July, nothing. And so last year, Daryl and I, we bought like $50 worth of stuff because we were working the fireworks booth. Mm-hmm. And we lit them up in our court, which is a perfect place to have neighborhood fireworks. And there were a couple people that sat out and enjoyed them, but our kids weren't even there. It was just me and Daryl. We were just doing it ourselves. This year, I'm hopeful that we'll have more than, Malia's supposed to invite some friends over, and we'll buy some more fireworks and we'll do it because Malia's still like, I want to do it. So we're like, yeah, let's do it. Why not? We have a good time. Who cares? We'll still do them.
Fireworks are fun.
I think they're fun. I mean, I always hope for the big finale, and it you never want the dud. You want it to be the biggest, funnest, coolest one.
Yeah, it's the really big one that usually shoots out like 3 different colors and
the purple and yellow and whatever. So we'll do that, and that'll be that. But we used to go to the big shows, but now they're so dangerous. It's just not fun. Yeah, they're not as fun.
I can't do the big crowd things anymore. I'm too nervous.
Either, man.
It's just,
I know.
Which is, sad, but it's just the world we live in for now.
Well, now that it's just if it's just Daryl and I, we would consider it, but if we lived in a town where they did the cool fireworks over the water like they do in San Francisco or New York or, the East Coast, I would totally go to those.
Yeah.
I would absolutely. We know enough people on boats. We go sit on a boat and watch it. But then you think of the inevitable, like, the traffic and the drunk people, and none of that appeals to me.
You know what? Actually, last year, I think we were in Reno. I think that's where we went. And
you did. That's right. You went for Olivia's birthday.
Yeah, and we were in a room that was facing, I think it was the Nugget, and they do this giant rooftop display.
Oh, so you guys had good seats.
We got to see that.
Well, that's nice. That's good. Well,
that's a good one. It was different. So
anyway, all right. Well, I think that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a wrap too. So we hope everybody has a safe and sane 4th of July. Please, when we say safe, please don't, blow your hand off or get crazy with the fireworks. Don't put them in places they don't belong.
Please. Don't make us read about it tomorrow.
Yeah, really. We want to have you back to listen to us. Speaking of which, we will not be having a show next Wednesday on the actual 4th of July. We hope that you actually go do much more fun things and spend time with family and friends. So we will be back the following Sunday per usual, and we'll probably do a recap of all the things that we did.
Yeah.
And we will see you next time. Bye.
Thanks for listening and sharing the show. See you next time on The Ugly Truth.